Guys, this is pretty hilarious. PBD was recently on Jubilee, and he gets called out on his MLM insurance scam that made him millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Now, I think it's pretty funny that his company was called PHP, which stood for People Helping People. And by that, I think he meant people, as in the people he scammed, helping him, who is also a person, make millions of dollars. But anyway, guys, let's get into it.
Capitalist economies happens under socialist economies. But I'm also not sure you entirely know what capitalism is, and if it's okay, I'd like to ask a couple questions about your job.
Sure.
Because you're offering that. I know that you're Valuetainment, right? You run a YouTube podcast. Mm-hmm. You also run PHP Agency, right?
Yep.
Yes. And you sell life insurance policies, right?
Life insurance and annuities.
Yes. I read an article by the Daily Beast which argued that you make more money from recruitment fees to get people to work for you than you make money from selling those policies. Capitalism is when you provide a service and sell the labor of yourself or the person who works for you in return for money. But you're not really doing that, right? You're selling being part of the company through recruitment fees. I'm not sure that's capitalism.
How familiar are you with the insurance industry?
Pretty familiar.
Are you?
Yes.
You've been in the industry before?
No,
Most insurance companies that I'm aware of don't require you to pay to sell their services. They hire you, you sell their services, and then you get paid a wage or a salary.
Father was, and asked him a lot of questions.
So in the insurance industry, when you're in it,
yes,
you get paid
yes.
by selling life insurance policies, and you get paid by selling annuities.
Yes.
We built a distribution channel of a company right after I left Morgan Stanley and Transamerica. We started the insurance company. We grew it, helping middle-income families who didn't have another opportunity to create wealth for themselves. I just came back from our event in Vegas.
Hold on, I'm not sure that's correct, though.
It is, though.
It's not correct, though, because what do you make more money from?
I just came back from. We don't make more money from recruiting.
I read the Daily Beast article that did that. I also watched CoffeeZilla's debate with you, where you pulled up receipts that the majority of the employees of your company don't make any money.
Here's a question for you. Here's a question for you.
All right, let's see what CoffeeZilla has to say about this.
Really good income, it seems like. Because 0.75% make $148,000. That's a great living. You're going to do very well with that. Well, now we drop into the middle class, right? 1% of the people do that. It's still great. Still good compensation. Here's where it really falls off. Down here, I don't know if you can see that, 64% of paid agents, these are agents getting paid, made $200. The vast majority of people who made money with PHP barely paid off their enrollment fee of $200 that year. You didn't even hardly broke even on an enrollment fee, over half. Now, 20% of them made $2,000.
Which, you know, that $200 is probably not the only fee that you're paying to be a part of this scam. But yeah, like most people, 64%, 80% make less than $2,000 a year. A year. All that time that you're wasting working for this company, and you're not making any money. Any money. Now, if you were a salaried employee, and maybe, you get commission for the, annuities and life insurance policies that you sell, that's a legitimate business. Now, I mean, you can argue about whether or not life insurance is really a legitimate business, but you're not, subsidizing your company based on the fees that your employees have to pay to just be a part of it.
Bring up CoffeeZilla.
Yeah.
Daily Beast is a different story. Go to CoffeeZilla.
Sure, of course.
Do you think if I was worried about my business model, I would go on CoffeeZilla? What do you think?
I think it's not really capitalist.
Hang on a second. Do you think if I was worried about my business model?
This is the superpower of PBD, okay? He can talk and talk and ramble and, go in circles and tell all these stories that have nothing to do with your question, so that by the end of it, you're just kind of confused. That's basically a significant part of the debate he had with CoffeeZilla, was him just rambling on about random bullshit that had nothing to do with, CoffeeZilla's questions. But, PBD can't escape the fact that he runs an MLM. And MLMs are scams. They just are. Like, if you have a legitimate business, just hire employees and pay them a salary plus commission if it's a sales type business. Why do all this bullshit where you sell people enrollment fees and various other fees that they probably have to pay. I'm glad Jubilee did this, because now more and more people are going to know that this guy is a total scammer.
I would go on CoffeeZilla. They were actually very strong when they came back after me. We had a 2-hour conversation.
Yes.
We finished it. It was good to go. We moved on. Their claims that only 1% or 2% make and nobody makes it in insurance, they're right. Most people don't make it in insurance. Just like most people who move to California don't make it in Hollywood.
This is so dishonest, right? Like, the point is that 1% of people who work, quote unquote, work at his company make a significant amount of money. But that's not how companies should work, right? Like, if you work at a company, you shouldn't have a 1% chance of making a livable wage. That's insane, right? And he's really saying that, 1% of people who start an insurance business make it. And that might be true. It's probably a low percentage. Most businesses fail, yada, yada, whatever. But that's not what this guy is saying, right? He's saying that PBD's company, only 1% of people succeed, which is just that is a failure. That is a failure of the business, from the side of the people who work there, obviously. PBD is doing great.
I believe the technical term for when you make more money from getting people to be part of a company than from actually selling a service is called a multi-level marketing scheme. Do you think that that's a fair characterization of your company? Why not?
Do you know what multi-level is?
Yes, I know. It's where you make more money from, it's sort of like a pyramid scheme, wherein you make more money from getting people to be part of it and selling them to be part of the company.
A pyramid scheme doesn't have a product. That's criminal.
No, he's being dishonest again. Yes, it's not technically a pyramid scheme, right? And this guy messed up by saying that. A pyramid scheme, there is no product. An MLM, there is a product, but that doesn't make it not a scam. Especially when 99% or 80% of people don't make enough money to cover the fees and, the transportation and all this stuff involved with being part of that company.
A multi-level marketing company is more like an Amway, an Herbalife, a New Skin, those companies.
Okay. Yeah, scams.
But because it pays you.
You are making more money from getting people to be part of your company than you are from making money from actually providing a service.
That's not true. It's a claim by Daily Beast. By the way, do you know what a quality of earnings is?
Yes.
What's a quality of earnings? Tell everybody what a quality of earnings is. Go ahead.
Fair point. The quality of earnings isn't that like the value that's produced from when you make the money? Like how much from the labor that's produced, or am I wrong?
What is quality of earnings?
I gave you what I think the definition is.
Okay. So quality of earnings is I sit there and I want to sell the business to you.
Yeah.
You make an offer of $250 million. Okay? I tell you, this is my business, here's how much profit we make. You leave and you say, great, let's make a deal. I'll pay $250 million. We shake on it. Then you validate whether it is worth that or not by going and paying a big company a few $100,000 to check the quality.
So same deal as like having someone look at the quality of the gold that you're going to buy.
PwC came and they do a quality of earnings to say, is this company really worth this? They get to make a decision whether the company is truly doing what you or Daily Beast claims to do.
He's bringing up PwC, which is one of these like 4 big audit firms, right? Yeah, PwC, Deloitte, EY, and KPMG. I don't know if you guys know this, but they lie all the time. They're constantly getting caught doing shady shit. So the fact that PwC rubber stamped an audit for them doesn't really hold much water for me, okay? Not only that, but if you're the owner of this business, you're gonna do well. Of course. Patrick Bet David did really well with this company, but everybody else who worked underneath it did not. So it doesn't prove that it's a legitimate business, that someone was willing to spend $250 million for it.
The value comes from your brand. It comes from going on podcasts like that, even when they expose the business model, because you're not selling.
Do you know what ended up happening? Don't make claims you don't know about.
Do you know what you're selling?
Do you know what ended up happening?
You know what you're selling, right?
Do you know what ended up happening?
Do you know what you're selling?
The company
you're selling your personal
buying,
brand. You're selling the idea, because when you're offering people here jobs, right? You're saying that they would have to pay you money to get that. So in reality, you're trying to convince them to pay you money to be part of your company.
Claims of defaming. Be very careful defaming when you don't know the facts.
You have a
Defaming? What do you mean? You have to pay a sign-up fee to work at this company.
Be very careful. No. Be very careful claiming. Be very careful making that claim when you said people here have to pay to work at our company.
It's recruitment.
Be very
fee.
careful. No,
Right?
those are two different things.
Oh God, guys, this was great. This was hilarious. I'm so glad that PBD went on Jubilee to get exposed. I mean, this was just amazing. Thank you so much. But that's enough for me, guys. I'm gonna go take a nap. Love you guys. Bye bye.